Is Dead Space the best horror franchise out there? Yes, I think so. Now let's talk about why and if it specifically is better at delivering that horror punch than Resident Evil. Cheers.
So while I do this review, I'm going to be sipping on all three of the new Biro flavors. We have Noon Wheat, a Kingston Golden Pilsner, and Edge Hill Hazy IPA. So throughout the video, I'll be sipping on these.
So I recently just finished the Dead Space remake through PS5. It's free on PlayStation Plus, so go download it. And of course, added it to the game log. Let me know, comment down below if you're interested in a game log. If so, and enough people want it, then I'll just throw it up in a Google Drive folder and you can download it or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Anyway, and now I'm playing through the Resident Evil 4 remake because I know I started it. It's a great game. It's spooky season, so we might as well finish it. Now, you might say, how are you comparing them if you haven't finished it? Listen, this is my first point. I expect Resident Evil 4's story to be better. It just has a more expansive story as it's a series. I'm not really concerned about story when it comes to my horror games. That's not why I'm here. I don't go to Texas Roadhouse just to have somebody say, their steaks are mediocre. Guess what? I'm here for the rolls and the cinnamon butter. Welcome. This is why I'm here. All right. Anyway, so as I'm playing through Dead Space, I am having an amazing time. I am enjoying it so much more than when I was younger. Obviously, I'm older. I can play it a lot better. I understand things a lot more. I can kind of think into the whole conspiracy of the game and say, oh my God, what's going to happen? Is the story unfolding how I expect it to? Of course not. There's always a twist. And I think to myself, this may be the best horror game I have ever played. I am having so much more fun than any other game. And just to be prepared, I played Outlast, I played Alien Isolation, I've played Dead by Daylight. If there's a horror genre, I've hopped into it at least a little bit, so I have a good taste of what I like in horror. And I don't think anything's beating out Dead Space. Now, there are some people who say, oh, Alien Isolation is incredible, and people have been telling me, you need to play it. I understand. The AI is insane. That is the crown jewel of Alien Isolation, is the alien AI. I get that. The issue, not really with the game, just comparatively, it's not as fun to actually play. It has much more of that scare factor, oh God, which, hey, it's a horror game. It should have. But it's not as fun to play. This is why somebody else mentioned Outlast. It's yeah, you know what? That's pretty spooky. It's got jump scares and whatnot. It may be a little scarier, depending on the game. But if it's not very fun to play, that really pulls you out of it. It almost feels like a chore. I know I'm going to be scared and I'm trying to play something that'll spook me, but I'm not really enjoying the gameplay. But what do you look for in horror? Am I completely off base and you're like Alien Isolation is the greatest horror game to ever bless us? Let me know. Second, look at that pour. That is a damn good pour, and this is the Edgy Hill Hazy IPA. Wow, it's fruity. Okay, I'm so down for that. If you've ever had a hazy IPA, you kind of know what to expect. It's, a little darker, a little punchier. I like black coffee. I like hazy IPAs. I like double IPAs. I'm not picky when it comes to beer, but that is very juicy. It's got that citrus. I like that. It kind of reminds me if you mixed a hazy IPA with a shock top. If you took those two, added the shock top flavor with the hazy, I like that. That's really good. But really, let me know. What do you look for in a horror game? Because as much as I want to be scared, gaming in general for me is you have to be fun to play first. I don't care what the genre is. If it's not enjoyable to play, it's gone. Don't care. Next, moving on. And Dead Space Remake was amazing. I remember the original Dead Space being good, but again, I was too young, got bored, or if I hit a wall, I was like, no, I can't do it. Feels, again, I know it took a lot of inspiration from Resident Evil 4. It feels like playing a Resident Evil, but tapped up to 11. You are trapped in space with, they're not called necromorphs, xenomorphs, which also are aliens. So anyway, you're trapped with these monsters, not in a village, not in a city, where you can just run and get out. You're trapped on a giant spaceship that is crumbling and crashing into a planet. What is scarier than that? You're trying to survive these aliens, and the thing you're on is actively being destroyed. So it's death 360 degrees from every angle all the time. And poor Isaac is just sitting there like he's an engineer. Your protagonist is not some badass, super soldier agent like Leon. I know he's not a super soldier, but he's, this special trained agent. So he's a little more prepared. Isaac's an engineer. He gets there, says, yeah, I fix things. And then actively has to go through the entire game, like, dreading every single corner he turns because, oh, great. Oh, look at that. It's a monster that regenerates no matter what I do to it. Oh, look, those ones climb on the wall. Oh, look, these ones fly. It's terrifying. And the game does it so well because they know what the player expects. A good horror game knows to switch things up so that way you don't get used to it. With Outlast, even Alien Isolation, after a certain point, you start to understand the AI. You start to understand when the jump scares are coming. And so then it becomes far less terrifying. It's almost kind of like, okay, I get it. It's going to pop out there. Yep, I'm going to get scared or dragged away here. Yep, that's going to make me bleed or whatever. That's great. Dead Space knows that. So it'll, throw out a noise, or maybe a vent will pop. Yesterday, I'm literally finishing the game, and I'm walking up, and there's these vents. Every player who plays it will know. These vent panels with the little fan, and that pops out, and a monster comes out. I'm walking down a hallway, and I'm about to turn the corner, and the vent starts going like it's about to pop off. Pops off, and nothing comes out. But for the 5 seconds beforehand when it was spinning and sounding like it, I was like tense. I was ready. Like, oh God, here it comes. What's coming out? And nothing came out. So I got ready for nothing. Then you turn a corner, go into a room, and you get ambushed. It's beautifully done. Like, subvert the expectations so that when they drop their guard, then you really hammer it home that get ready to be terrified. I love that. Now, again, of course, you will say, Resident Evil, got a great story, great character. Leon is badass, even with his unnecessary flips and whatnot. And I can understand how you like that better. But as a delivery for a horror game, I don't think anything beats Dead Space because it's fun to play and it's terrifying without getting old. You don't play it and then 10 minutes in, you're bored because, well, I know what's going to happen here. I'm going to open that door and it's going to pop out, or I'm going to have to fight a wave of monsters here. Like, I already know the cycle, so there's no point in me playing anymore. Or it's just not the same because I understand the AI now. That doesn't happen. It continuously changes things. And it's great. I love it. What do you think? What are you feeling about Dead Space? Do you think it's the best horror genre or the horror franchise out there? Or do you like Resident Evil? Because that's kind of the direct comparison I'm making right now. Like I said, I'm playing through Resident Evil 4. It's great. It's just not as good. I don't think so. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear what everybody has to think. Am I blatantly wrong? Tell me why. Don't just say I'm wrong. Tell me why. I want to hear the reason behind it. Now, the cherry on top that really sells Dead Space is the fact that it relies on the player picking up cues in the environment or just in the game in general. There's no health bar. The only indicator of your health is the little light strip on the back of Isaac's suit. You'll see it. It's green when it's full, and then as it gets lower, it turns yellow, and towards the bottom, it turns red. Now, again, if you're not paying attention, you won't know that. You'll get hit and die. But if you're paying attention, oh, it's green. Boom, I just went through a battle. Oh, now it's yellow. That must be my health. And that sells the terror aspect because the game doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't say, here's your health. Here's what to do. Here's this. When you have your little kinetic ability, or the time stop ability, it's not time stop, it's like slow this object down. You have a little dial next to your health. It's smaller. And again, that's something you have to pay attention to after you use the ability. Because if you use it all up, you might not know you're on empty. And then you go to use it, you can't, and you figure out, oh man, okay, that's what that is. There's no big indicator of where to go. You have a little gauntlet that, boom, you activate it, and a little path lights up for like a second, and you have to either keep doing that or figure things out. It's terrifying because there's no hand holding. Like, you can't make a scary game and then at every single point help the player out. Being stranded, being stuck, not knowing what to do next is part of what sells it. And Dead Space sells it, I'm telling you. And now, this pour was not as good. This is the, what do we got here? The Kingston Golden Pilsner. So, interesting. I definitely like the hazy better because I'm a fan of like juicy tastes. I love the fruity taste in a beer. I don't know if I've had maybe I don't drink a lot of Pilsners, but I don't feel like I've tasted a lot of beers that taste like this. It's not bad. It's just different because I have nothing to associate it with. If this tastes like what I imagine like a classic beer tastes like, if you don't know what you want, you can grab one of these because you know it's going to taste good. You know, I like it. I have no comparative here. I need to drink more Pilsners, apparently. Yeah, it's good. It's refreshing. That's a big deal for me. I don't care what type of beer it is. It better be refreshing. If it's not, it's a failure. So 2 for 2, we're good. Refreshing. The last one is the Noon Wheat. Now, I will say, Resident Evil, of course, they've got the better boss battles. Dead Space, boss battles, kinda. I mean, there's the, the regenerating monster. What is it? Like the hunter? No, that's not it. Oh, yeah, it is the hunter, I think. Not really a boss. They're really easy to take out once you understand what to do, i.e. run, or if you're in one of the instances where you can actually take them out. So Resident Evil claps Dead Space on that front. But I'll tell you, when you're in a room that you're about to get ambushed in, and then all of the lights go out, and the only light is on your weapon when you aim down the sight, that is so anxiety, like, inducing. Those moments were terrible, but like in a good way. I was so scared. I'm in a huge room, like a big common area. Lights all go out and 3 or 4 vents pop open. I didn't even know I was playing on medium difficulty the whole time. I never felt comfortable at all. I never felt safe. It was always, oh God, it's pitch black and the only light is coming from my weapon. So if I run, I can't see anything. So I have to turn and fight, but then I might die. Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal. I've never felt like that with any other game. If you have, let me know which one so I can go play it, because I'm looking for it somewhere else. I think it really comes down to what you prioritize in your horror games. If it is strictly just how many times you jump or how often that scare factor is able to just get you, you know what? This might not be your thing. You might not care about gameplay. Maybe Alien Isolation is your jam because it constantly, every second, keeps you on your toes. I get that. But that's not for me, I need to enjoy playing it too. Also, that is a much better pour. So this is the Noon Wheat. Oh, wow, that's good too. Okay. Ooh. Oh, damn. I don't know which one I like the best. It's between the Noon Wheat and the Hazy. Because that one's a little... that reminds me of Shock Top. Like, strictly Shock Top. I like that. Try Biro. This isn't sponsored or anything, but if you like beer and you don't care about the lack of alcohol, which I'm not losing any taste from there not being alcohol in there, so that's great. If I'm not losing taste, great. I've got no reason to go back. Go try Biro. It's awesome. You can order a variety pack. That's what I did. Anyway, it just depends on what you prioritize. I need to have fun while I'm playing these games. Yeah, the story could be subpar. I, again, don't care. That's not why I'm there. Yeah, it could be a lot of jump scares and whatnot, which that is part of why I'm there. But again, it needs to be fun to play. So it's got to be a balance between those two, fun and scary. And when you've got that, I'm here for it. But let me know what you think. Now, you might be saying, whoa, okay, this is all fun and games. Horror is not my thing. I do not come home from working 16 hours just to shit myself while playing a video game. That's not my jam. I hear you. Go right up here and you can watch a full playthrough of a game that is the polar opposite of a horror game. I promise you, there will be no stress here. You can go watch that and enjoy yourself, cool off, calm down, have a snack, have a beero, and enjoy the rest of your day. Go down and subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you in the next one.